Our story begins at the University of Kansas, where Josh and I compete in college athletics. Now that our first year at KU is over, we have learned a lot about ourselves and how we interact with other people. We believe this is a direct result of the different factors in our lives, like our families and the sports we participate in. In high school, we both ran cross country and track. While Josh thrived in these individual sports, I much preferred basketball. I grew up in a good-sized family with 3 siblings. I was the second child, stuck between the oldest and the only boy. I didn't have much going for me, but I watched my older sister and learned from her, and tried to be a role model for my little brother. I ended up filling the role as the middleman, keeping the peace between my family members.
Ever since growing up as the youngest of 2 boys in my family, I preferred doing things on my own. My brother and I have always been best friends, but we are still 5 years apart. The quality I've had of always being a bit of a loner is carried on in my life to running. Running long distance can be a lonely sport because the people who actually want and like to do it are few and far between. I still prefer doing things on my own as I moved away from Colby to live by myself in Lawrence.
I decided to do the dorm thing and got thrown into a room with 3 random people. It was weird to be constantly surrounded by others with no alone time. I was also on the women's rowing team with about 60 other girls. I loved the challenge of learning the new sport. I tried to watch the varsity rowers and soaked up everything that the coaches told me. Kind of like when I was growing up, I watched my older sisters and tried to teach my younger brothers. So once I caught on, I tried to help out the other freshmen so we could row better as a team.
The weirdest part about running at KU for me is having so many people around me who do what I do, run. There have been many times when I prefer to run alone, doing my own thing, as opposed to running with 15 other people. I am still quiet and don't necessarily want to worry about other people or what they have to say. Now that we're through our first year of college and we've noticed things about our lives that we took for granted in Colby, for me, I am very competitive and it gets on my nerves when I don't win or come close to it, especially when the ones beating me are on my own team. More importantly, I've realized how sometimes running can be a team sport, and I don't know that feeling.
Well, rowing is definitely a team sport, with 8 girls needing to row in perfect synchronization. I'm an extremely competitive person, but I quickly realized that even if I tried my hardest, we wouldn't win without everyone's help. Through the lessons of sociology, Josh and I have learned a lot about ourselves and the way we interact with other groups.
Paige and I have learned a lot about ourselves. It's been a good year.